Hello everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, let's continue with our review. Okay, so externalities is basically the spillover effect of production or consumption. And that means it's the effect on the third party. That means those who are not producing or consuming. Okay, it can be positive or negative. Positive externalities may include job creation, site development, training and education, research and development, or new technology. Okay, so whenever a producer or consumer is producing or consuming, okay, so those people around them who are not producing or consuming, if they're enjoying without paying, or that means without producing or consuming, that means these are the positive effects. Okay, and next is like negative externalities. Negative externalities includes all the negative effects suffered by the third parties, like traffic congestion, noise pollution, air pollution, water pollution, overcrowding, or resource depletion. Okay, so these are the negative effects on third parties. And social cost is basically the total cost beared by the producers, consumers, and the third parties. Okay, and social cost is equals to private cost plus external cost. That means private cost includes all the cost beared by the producers or consumers, plus external cost. That means the cost beared by the third party. And social benefit is equals to private benefit plus external benefit. That means social benefit is the total benefit enjoyed by all the producers, consumers, and third parties, and private benefit includes all the benefit enjoyed by the producers or consumers, and external benefits includes the benefit enjoyed by the third parties. Okay, so it's very simple. Okay, so and now how the government deals with this externalities. So usually government imposes tax on activities which causes negative externalities like pollutions. Okay, so if tax is imposed, then these activities will be discouraged and it will reduce. Okay, so negative externality will reduce in the society. And on the other hand, they can also come up with subsidies will encourage activities which are providing positive externalities. Okay? Like suppose if a farm is um, producing in an environment friendly manner, okay, so it will be very expensive production method. So to encourage this environment friendly production method, government can provide subsidies to encourage the farms. And then government can impose fines, okay, whenever farms will damage environments, or government can also come up with laws, rules and regulation, um, so that they can regulate the um, activities that are causing negative externalities. Okay, so these are the way. And in the next chapter we have competitive markets. Like there are many kind of markets. The first kind is competition. Like competition is a situation when there are many sellers and many buyers. Okay, uh, so see some of the features of competition. Like whenever there are competitions, these are the characteristics of these kind of markets. Like the number of buyers and sellers are like huge, like many buyers and sellers are there, and then the products that are sold in the market, these have close substitutes, so that's why the competition is high. The barriers of entry of new entrants are also very low, and so that's why new firms can easily join and increase the competition. Then the firms have virtually no control over the price, so that means so the price is basically determined by the market forces, that is demand and supply. So a firms uh, does not have much control over the price. Then also there are free flow of information. Okay. Both the sellers and buyers can know about their goods and services, and if there are free flow of information, they may not have to pay higher price. Okay, they'll pay the consumers will pay prices uh, which they deserve. Okay, Mashiat, good morning. Thank you. Okay, please let me know if you're facing any problem. Okay, so let's continue. So competition is a very good thing for the consumers. Okay, like here are some of the advantages, like lower prices. Right. So whenever there is a competition, the firms won't be able to charge high, so consumers will enjoy the lower prices. Then also they will enjoy the more choices will be there, right? Because to attract consumers, firms will try to differentiate their products, and this will lead to different kind of varieties in the market. And also the firms will have to provide better quality, otherwise they won't be able to retain the customers. Okay, so better quality is another advantage of this situation. Okay, and at the same time, there are some disadvantages. Okay, consumers may suffer from market uncertainty. Okay, suppose think about your favorite farms. Okay, so maybe they won't be able to continue. Okay, so suppose there was a pizza shop, you used to visit them frequently because of their lower price, higher amount of variety, and better quality. But they may not survive in the market because of this high level of competition, and soon and eventually your favorite farms may exit the market because of this highly competitive situation of the market. Then also lack of innovation, as the firms are usually farms does not earn much profit in this kind of competitive situation, so their profit is so low that they cannot afford research and development. So they don't go for innovation. Okay, so they cannot afford innovation, so that's another negative thing for the consumers. uh and if you consider about the economy, for economy it's a very good thing, right? Because now it will be more efficient. The resources will be more efficiently allocated, because of the competition. What's happening that the farms will continuously face a pressure to reduce the cost, or so that they can have earn profit. Okay, so resource will be efficiently used, less waste will be there, and the standard of living of the people of the country may rise because of the a lower price, higher choice and quality. Okay, so that's a good thing for the economy. And PPC curve may also shift to the right because of this efficient use of resources. Okay, so competition is a very good thing for the economy. But however, there might be disadvantages as well. Sometimes resources are wasted. Okay, so like think about a situation like because of competition, what happens that farms may use resources in such a way that it may lead to waste. Suppose like there was a situation like duplication of resources. There was no need to use these kind of resources in some cases, but farms are forced to use this kind of resources to maintain the competition. Okay. Suppose think about the broadband connections that is coming to your home. Okay, if you look out the window, you'll find that lots of cables are coming inside your home, or it's like these kind of cables are all around the area, right? Because there are huge level of competition of broadband internet connection. Okay, so what's happening that all the farms are coming up with lots of cables all around you. Okay, so it may lead to wastages of resources, right? So suppose if there was one farm, then that one farm may have one proper cable, and with that cable they can distribute it to all the customers, right? But as there are competitions, so many firms had to yeah, come up with these broadband cables, and it looks very dirty and clumsy, and also it's a waste of resources, right? Okay, then factors sometimes become immobile because of competition. Yeah, you may have the resources, but maybe the other competitors will try to create barriers so that you cannot use those resources. Maybe. Okay, so this is another example of the disadvantage of competition. So in the next chapter, we will discuss about like what is better, a small farm or a large farm. Okay, so let's discuss the advantages of small farms first. Flexibility. Okay, so small farms are very quick to adopt any kind of changes, because they're very small farm and they can easily make changes. Okay. So they can easily change the decision of their farms. Like today, they're making pizza. Next, then they can add burgers and other foods easily. But if you think about a large farm, it's very difficult to change their menu or their business activities or their policies. It's not so easy. Okay. They need to the decision making process is a bit slower than the small farm. Then personal services. Small farms can provide personal services. Maybe the owners himself themselves are involved in the process of providing the services. So personal providing personal services is a very good thing for the customers. But what may happen that um, the farms may not the large farms may not be able to provide personal services. Okay. Then next we have lower wages. The small farms are small, right? So then the workers cannot pressurize the owner to like increase their wage and right. So this is another benefit small farms will enjoy, paying lower wages. Okay, on the other hand, large farms may have to pay huge amount of wages, because as a large farm, the trade union or the workers can negotiate with the farm that they have to they should get a higher payment, as the farms are getting bigger, or they're large farms, they're earning huge amount of revenue, so they should provide higher wages. Then better communication. So small farms can easily communicate very few number of employees. So it's very easy to communicate, and very quickly they can communicate. Then surprisingly, they can be these small farms can be very innovative as well. Right, because whenever there is a competitive pressure, the small farms try to come up with new ideas and quickly implement it, and often they enjoy a huge success because of this innovation. Mm, On the other hand, there are some disadvantages as well, like higher cost. Like for small farms, it's difficult for them to exploit economies of scale, right? They will suffer for mm, uh, from a higher cost, then lack of finance, like the small farms won't be able to receive finance from banks maybe or other financial institutes, because it's risky to provide loan to small farms. Okay. And next, there is like difficulties attracting right staff, because there are in many cases like skilled labor may not want to join these small farms, because they may think, yeah, these are small farms, it may not last long, or it might be harmful for a labor's career, because the small farms may not last long. Okay, so it's often difficult to attract right staff, and experienced staff, qualified staff, so that because the maybe the small firms may not be able to pay qualified staff. Okay. Then vulnerability. Okay, so as there are level of competition in the market, so small farms often fails to survive, and large farms can even buy them out, or provide a huge amount of discounts and stuff to the customers. So small firms will fail, will won't be able to survive this kind of offers provided by the firms, large firms. Okay. Next, we have advantages of large farms. It's basically the opposite to the disadvantage suffered by the small farms. Large farms are will be able to enjoy economies of scale, and they will be dominant in the market because they're large. Okay, then they can also afford large scale contracts, whereas the small farms cannot. Then the disadvantages include bureaucracy, like the farms may become too bureaucratic, the large farms. So what will happen, that it will take too much time in the decision making process. So it's a very sometimes it becomes a very huge problem for the large farms. Then it also becomes difficult to coordinate and control the large farms, okay, because so many employees and so many branches and factories and everything, so supervision cost increase a lot. Then also there are poor motivation, because there is a gap between the workers and the owners or the supervisors. There might be less amount of personal contact. Okay, so sometimes the worker becomes very demotivated because of this gap between the workers. Okay, maybe a worker is working in a farm for maybe 20 years, but the owners may not even know them. Okay, so sometimes it's very demotivating for the employees. Okay, so the farms try to grow. Okay, so whenever there is a motive of growth, it means that the farms is trying to grow because of several reasons. Maybe and one of the reasons is like survival. If they don't grow, then it might be difficult for them to survive in the market. Right? And then there are economies of scale. That means if they can, if a farm can grow, then they can enjoy economies of scale. Otherwise they won't be able to enjoy economies of scale, so average cost may stay high if they don't grow. Okay, then increasing profit, because small farms the revenue of small farms are low, so lower profit is there. So yeah, all the farms usually want to grow to enjoy this increased amount of profit or revenue. Then increase market share. Okay, if a farm can grow, then they can sell in a large quantity in the market, so it will help them to increase the market share, and they will be more dominant in the market. Then reduced risk, a large farm can reduce risk by diversifying. They can come up with range of goods and services in the market, and this will lead to lower risk. Mhm. So the farms can grow using mainly these two methods, um, internal growth and external growth. Mm, okay, so we have a question over here by Labiba Munia. Can I write self-employment increase, competition increase? Mm, mm, Sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you please elaborate your question, Munia? Um, can I write self-employment increase, competition increase? Mm, Sorry, please elaborate your question. Mm, mm, okay, so I think you should repeat your question. I didn't get it. Sorry. Okay, so I'm continuing. Let's continue with this topic. Okay, so there are mainly two ways: internal and external. So internal growth means like you're running alone, right? So the farm itself is growing with its own power. Like maybe they're investing more, they're employing more, they're spreading more, they're coming up with more branches. Okay, that means they're coming up with more finances, so that means they're growing. Another name for this one is like organic growth. And another method is external growth. That means by joining with other farms. There are two methods usually: takeover or acquisition, and merger or integration. Okay, so this another name for this one is inorganic growth. Okay, so internal was a farm was growing by itself, but here in external, yeah, the farms are growing with the help of other farms. Okay, so that's external growth, right? Okay, again, this integration can be of four types, and like horizontal integration means like the farms from the same industry are joining together, which are in the same stage of production. Okay, like basically, if you join with your competitor, or the farms that are in the same stage of production as your farm, then it's a horizontal integration. And vertical integration means like in the same industry, but in a different stage of production. Mm, okay, if you join with a farm which is in the same industry but different stage of production, that's vertical integration. Okay, and there are two types of vertical integration: forward and backward. Forward integration means like you are joining with a farm which is in the next stage of production. Suppose if you buy your retailer, okay, or join with your retailer. Okay, suppose you are producing a good, and you are joining with your retailer. That means it's a forward in vertical integration. And next is and another is backward vertical integration. Backward vertical integration means that you are joining with a farm which is in the previous stage of production. That means suppose you are joining or buying or joining with a farm which is your supplier maybe. Okay, so that means you're producing a goods and you're buying your supplier or joining with your supplier. That means it's backward vertical integration. Okay. So, and the last one is conglomerate or diversifying integration. That means you're joining with a totally different kind of industry. A farm with a very different, like suppose you're producing shoe, and you're manufacturing shoe, and you are joining with a farm which is producing food maybe. Okay, so totally different kind of industry, food and shoe, right? But you may join together to diversify your business portfolio. you. Okay, so it will definitely reduce your risk. But the problem is like you're roaming around in a very unknown territory, right? So it may sometimes become a bit risky, okay, because of your lack of knowledge and experience in that market. Okay. mm, okay. Okay, so so see, all these methods have some good side and bad side. Okay, we should know those. Okay, and the limitation of growth means like, yeah, so we already found that, yeah, the growth is a very good thing for the farm, but sometimes even if you want to grow, you may not be able to grow because of the limited market, maybe. Okay, so limited market means like you don't have enough customers. So if you don't have enough customers, that it won't be possible for you to grow, right? And then lack of finance. So if you don't have enough finance, then it will be again difficult for you to grow, right? Because maybe your farm is too small and the financial institutes are not confident enough to provide you with loan. So again, you can face a barrier to growth. Then aim of the entrepreneur. Sometimes the entrepreneur does not want to grow. Okay, so if they don't want to grow, then the farms won't be able to grow, right? They want to keep it small, keep in control of the. Okay, so that's why it remains small. And then next is low barriers to entry. That means so whenever there is a low barrier to entry, so competitors can easily enter the market. So at that time, it's very difficult for farms to grow because new entrants can easily join. And these economies of scale, if the farm becomes too big, then it may increase their average cost. Okay, so this is another barrier to grow. Okay, so that's all for today. See you in the next class, inshallah. Thank you.